these are all the negatives that I'm pointing out, but I wouldn't change my experience at all, and I really don't want to deter you guys from transferring. If you're already thinking of transferring from your college, just do it. The thought will not go away, I promise you. My first thought of transferring from my old school was literally like the second week of school, my freshman year, and I ended up doing it even though it was like a year and a half later. Hey guys, it's Merida back at it again with another video. Today we will be talking about my experience as a transfer student. So if that's something that's interesting for you, or if you want to hear what I have to say and some tips if you're also transferring, keep on watching. Quick little disclaimer, if you do decide to watch this part, I'm not talking about the practicality of college. At the end of the day, a college education is a college education. You go to college to meet people, see how you can advance in your career that you're interested in, yada yada yada. I'm talking about the kind of like college experience more than anything. I'm not talking about the practicality of choosing the college that you transfer to. I'm just gonna be talking about like the student life, your experience and stuff like that, and more than anything else. So just keep that in mind. Please don't get your pennies in a twist. At the end of the day, college is college. You are meant to get a degree, meet people, make connections, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm not touching on that part. Okay, so I really just want to get into it today. No long intro. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe though. I did forget to mention that. But let's get into it. So if you guys don't know me, hi, I am Merida. I am a junior at Clemson University. I just transferred in the fall of 2021. If you want to see some past videos of me at Clemson or just my journey, definitely go check out the other videos on my channel. But today I kind of wanted to reflect on my first semester at Clemson as a transfer student, and I kind of wanted to give you guys some tips and just what I've learned so far. So without further ado, let's get into it. I don't know if you guys have heard this or your high school teachers or advisors have mentioned, but literally transferring, it can be extremely difficult, and usually transfer students get nothing. Like, they are the butt of students at whatever school you're going to be. There's just a lot less access to a lot of things, and you're not kind of like included in the loop of the school necessarily. You're kind of like an afterthought sometimes if your school isn't that great. Clemson is kind of a bigger school, and thankfully there's like a transfer student council and all these other things to keep transfer students involved and connected to the student body. But if you as a transfer student do not care about your school, you're more likely to be literally just going to your school for classes, not necessarily having the full college experience if you don't try enough. You very easily can just be left behind, so to speak. So that is something I didn't really think was that real or like that big of a thing, but it's definitely real. Some kids who I've met who are transfer students literally are just going to school just to go to school. They didn't really care about being involved or kind of knowing the loop of the school or anything like that, which I thought was really interesting. My second thing that I learned was that transferring to an out-of-state college, because for me Clemson is out-of-state, is particularly hard. I didn't think of these things necessarily when I was really choosing. Like, yes, I understood that it was an out-of-state school, but I didn't realize what going to an out-of-state college would be like. Like, that wasn't the experience I had at my old school because it was in the same state. And I don't know, I kind of just never really thought about it. But it can get hard because, especially right now with COVID and travel regulations and stuff, sometimes you won't be able to go home. You can't just go home for a weekend, so you could get really homesick, and also just you might not know a lot of people or anyone going into your new school. For example, mine is a state school, so a lot of the students there know some other students from high school or just from their past. I literally know no one that went to Clemson from my high school, so I was pretty kind of just like riding solo into it, and it's definitely like no harm taken when like my friends or whatever like say hi to someone that they knew from high school or whatever. Like, it's not anything personal, but you just won't know as many people as like you might have known at your own state school, if that makes sense. So that can make you feel kind of lonely some days, definitely, but it is something that you kind of get used to, and honestly it's pretty freeing, like having no connection to somewhere at all. Like you can really just start on a new leaf kind of thing. So that was actually pretty refreshing, even though it did take some time to get used to. My third thing would be that it kind of connects to my first point, but getting involved can be particularly difficult if you live off campus. A lot of transfer students usually don't get the option to live on campus when they transfer, just because, at least at Clemson, the freshmen pretty much take up all the space on campus to live in the dorms. So there isn't any space for any incoming students to really live on campus. Being off campus as a commuter student, basically, it's a very different experience if you're someone who's used to living on the dorms. And I only have ever lived in the dorms throughout my college experience up until this past semester. So that was a huge transition that I had to kind of deal with, and it definitely took me by surprise. Like, it was not a pleasant one to get used to, I'm not gonna lie. I do miss the luxury of being in the dorms. That also just helps with meeting people, and meeting people when you're off campus can be even more rough. So that is definitely something to look out for if you are looking to transfer, or just kind of to keep in mind. Anyways, my last point before I go into my tips, there is no perfect school. In my opinion, there's always going to be something, whether it's the administration, the classes, how you register, there's going to be something about whatever school that you transfer to that you're not going to like. The college system is kind of just geared to try not to get in the mindset of, oh, but I can just transfer again, because it's going to be kind of like the same thing. Now let's get into my tips. Those were all like the super negative parts. I'm so sorry. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. To kind of avoid all the negatives that I talked about earlier, these are my tips to you guys, or to whoever is transferring. First off, this is my personal preference, but I would try to live in the dorms, or try to live as close to campus as possible. Trust me on this. You're gonna want to, especially your first semester. Second, I would try and join some kind of club. Greek life particularly I find to be very helpful, just being involved with school, and also just like meeting a lot of people. I did join a sorority, and that has helped me out immensely. Third, definitely get a schedule down. You're gonna need one. It's gonna kind of keep you sane from all the things that you're gonna have to adjust to, so having something be consistent in your life is definitely something that would be good. Lastly, I would try to keep in touch with your old school friends. Don't just cut people off just because you're at a new school. It's going to be very helpful, and they are someone who is a support system pretty much for you. It's definitely really useful, so don't think that just because you're at a new school you can't talk to your old friends. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope this video you find to be helpful. Definitely let me know if you have any questions or comments. Just leave them in the comment below. I would love to answer them, and I hope you guys are doing well. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.